Kia ora e te whānau. Yes, today I am wearing gloves because we are going to be doing some resining. I'm going to be a good girl and show you best practice for safety. These are all the things that you're going to need. Potentially, you know me, we might need something else, but it'll only be minor. Scissors, ink dauber, ruler, resin mat, lighter if you get any bubbles, craft knife, a nice tacky thick glue, PVA glue, and some UV resin, and obviously a LED lamp to set the resin. And then I've just printed this off in gloss photo paper because if you use normal paper and it doesn't have the shiny coating, you will notice that your images darken, especially in the white areas, because the resin actually absorbs into the paper. So I recommend, this is just through my inkjet, it's not professionally printed or anything, although you're more than welcome to do that as well. And this is what we're going to be making. I have done a resin tutorial before with little tags, but these little tiles I thought are just absolutely gorgeous and will add beautiful detail to any page. And what do we do with them? Well, like I said, you could just back them with a little bit of matching lace and put them on a page, just like that. See how pretty that looks? Or wrap them with some pretty lace. There's one that I've put on a page on some hand-dyed paper. So if you'd like to stick around and watch me make these, I will make one. As you can see, I'm just making a little stash because they can be used in any journal page, any journal. You will need some of this. Now, you could get away with using chipboard. I use this because it's really nice and easy to ink and cut. It is matte board that photo framing galleries use to frame their paintings and photographs, etc. And if you ask really nicely, they might give you some scraps. That's what I do. And I have a ready supply. It's a really nice sturdy board. Yes, it does add a little bit of bulk as well as the resin, but no more than stuffing stuff into a pocket. And I just really like the way it looks. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm only going to make one on camera because obviously once you've seen one, you're going to know how to do it. I'm going to cut these out quite carefully, just because that's going to be my guide for slicing them with the ruler once they're on the mat board as well. I had also thought that, that's why I did one a little bit bigger on there, you could resin a larger one and use it as a topper. Thought that could look quite cute as well. I don't use expensive resin, it's just resin that I got off Temu, so don't think that I use expensive resin. You can get doming resin, which means it raises up even a little bit more, and that is quite expensive. I don't think you need it. Just make sure that you don't use too much glue and that you do get it right to those very edges, because that's going to be the only thing holding it to this board. The resin won't, because it won't be going all around the edges. And yes, I could have done this part without gloves on, but do you know why I did? Because I could not be bothered doing my nails before I came on, and they are absolutely atrocious. They've got ink under them, and the last thing I want is a whole bunch of comments from people probably not you guys because you're amazing, saying, oh, look how gross your nails are. Because I know those people are out there. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with them a lot of the time. Okay. So once that's on there, you are just going to trim. I'm not going to fast forward this video because it's going to be a really short video anyway. Okay. I just make multiple passes through. I find it gives a cleaner cut, especially when you're using a slightly dull craft knife like I am. Okay, done. Now, yeah, that looks pretty cool just on its own, but look at the difference. I just think it's, I don't know if you guys agree, I just think it's something a little bit different. Now I am going to ink it because that does make a difference, especially around the edges. Make sure you get a good coating of ink on there, and I put a little bit extra on the corners on the actual photograph. The resin does actually absorb some of this ink, so feel free to be quite generous. And that just instantly, I think, makes a really cool difference. Okay, now the most important thing with resining is that you're on as level a table or working area as possible. Now, because we're on my bed, the craft bed, I am just going to, by eye, try and lift this up a little bit. You do what you have to do, don't you? Okay, and then resining is pretty simple. I do recommend that you do put gloves on. I'm just going to do one border. Now you'll notice I haven't gone right to the edges because I don't want to risk this amount of resin overflowing, and it does happen. And sometimes it happens when it's under the lamp and then you pull it out when you think everything's going great and you see a big blob. You can actually get a piece of sandpaper or a drill with an attachment, sanding attachment, and you can actually sand those off, but it's less convenient than when it works right the first time, obviously. Now all these little gaps, I don't get my brush and fill in. I fill with a little bit more resin because at the moment we do have a border catching any resin from making its way off the surface. And then I'm just going to gently push a little bit, just using an old paintbrush. Just push a little bit of the resin so that it does cover the whole photograph, all the way around the edges, but you're not then worrying about taking too much over. But like I say, you've got to try and make it as level as possible. Already see we're a little bit down on our left bottom corner in terms of being level because we have more resin pooling. See how much resin is there compared to up here? So I'm just lifting that with my hand. Once you've set it off for one round of 60 seconds, you're pretty much fine. It's sticky, but it's not going to run anymore. Now if you do have any air bubbles, all you do is run a flame over the top of it. So before that decides to run away, I am going to pop her under there, and you can just keep an eye on it. Honestly, after about the 20 seconds, she's pretty much good. She's not going anywhere. So then I'm going to set this for 3 rounds of 60 seconds, which I'm not going to make you hang around for. I'm just going to pause here, and then I will show you the result of this one as soon as she's cooked. And here we go. Here is the big reveal. Okay, so have fun making those. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and that you might use it yourself. I have jumped on and done this one because I may pop these into the journal that I'm making, and if I do, I want to be able to direct you guys to the tutorial of how to do it, because that is a beginning to end tutorial. Come make a journal with me, and if I stuff these in there, I want you to know how to resin. So have fun, and if I don't see you before Christmas, which I'm sure I will, feel free to have an amazing Christmas with your family, friends, whānau, whoever you might be spending it with, fur babies, and I will see you next time with the gloves. Love you guys.